What if I told you that every failure you've ever had isn't wasted? It's raw material for your greatest success. Most people throw away their most valuable asset after one mistake, never realizing it could be transformed into something extraordinary. They see broken pieces and walk away. They see setbacks and give up. They see failure and believe it's the end of the story. But what if it's not? Have you ever failed so many times you wanted to quit? Felt like you're just not meant for success? Like some people are born with talent and others, people like you, simply aren't? There's an ancient story from India about a pottery master whose most beautiful works weren't created despite his failures. They were created from his failures. What he taught his struggling student about broken pieces and second chances will completely change how you see every mistake you've ever made. Because the difference between those who quit and those who create masterpieces isn't talent. It's what they do with what's broken. In ancient India, in a small village surrounded by clay-rich riverbanks, there lived a master potter named Arjun. His workshop was divided into 2 rooms. The front room held the most exquisite pottery in the region, vases that kings commissioned, bowls that temples treasured, sculptures that seemed almost alive with color and form. But there was a back room, always locked. No one knew what was inside. In this workshop, a young man named Ravi had been apprenticing for 6 months. Talented but inexperienced, he watched his master create magic from mud while his own hands produced only mistakes. Today, he had just shattered his 99th failed pot. Ravi stared at the broken pieces scattered across his workspace. 99 attempts, 99 failures. Each one wrong in a different way. Too thin, collapsing under its own weight. Too thick, cracking in the kiln's heat. Unbalanced, wobbling off the wheel before it even dried. Lopsided, ugly, useless. He had tried everything, copying his master's movements exactly, going slower, going faster, using different clay from different parts of the riverbank, adjusting water ratios, changing his grip. Nothing worked. Meanwhile, across the workshop, his master created flawless pieces effortlessly, hands moving with quiet confidence, every curve intentional, every form perfect. The contrast was unbearable. "Maybe I'm just not meant to be a potter," Ravi whispered, crushing a piece of his latest failure between his fingers. His father's words echoed in his mind. "Pottery is for those born with the gift. Our family are farmers. Stick to what we know." His friends had already given up their apprenticeships, accepting their natural limitations. They seemed happier now, not fighting against what they weren't meant to do. Ravi began sweeping his broken pieces into a basket, tears mixing with clay dust. This was it. 99 failures was the universe telling him to stop. He would return to his father's farm tomorrow and forget this foolish dream. He walked toward his master's workshop to announce his departure, and that's when he heard it. A sound coming from the locked back room. Master Arjun stood at the door of the locked room, his clay-covered hands resting on the handle. He saw Ravi's tears, the basket of broken pottery, the resignation in his posture. Without a word, he turned the key and opened the door for the first time. Ravi's breath caught in his throat. The room was filled, floor to ceiling, with broken pottery. Thousands upon thousands of shattered pieces, fragments of bowls, shards of vases, crushed remnants of sculptures, 20 years of failures preserved. "Master," Ravi's voice trembled. "These are all mine," Arjun said quietly. "Every single piece. My first 10 years I broke more than I created. My master told me I had the worst hands he'd ever taught." He picked up a fragment, turning it over in his weathered hands. "I kept every failure. Would you like to know why?" Ravi couldn't speak. His master, the greatest potter in the region, had failed thousands of times. "Because," Arjun continued, "these aren't failures anymore. Come, let me show you something." Arjun led Ravi back to the front gallery, the room of masterpieces. He approached the most stunning piece in the collection, a vase that seemed to capture sunset itself, with swirls of orange, red, and gold flowing together like liquid light. "My most prized creation," Arjun said. "Touch it." Ravi's fingers traced the surface reverently. Then he felt something. Subtle seams, different textures blending together. His eyes widened. "Master, this is made from broken pieces?" "Crushed and reformed," Arjun confirmed. "Every masterpiece in this room began as failures. I break them down, grind them into clay, recombine them with fresh material, and create again." He gestured around the gallery. "The second time clay is actually stronger. The first firing removes impurities. The reformation adds character, depth, complexity." He placed a hand on Ravi's shoulder. "There are two types of clay in this world. Clay that refuses the wheel, it resists pressure, fights the process, stays formless, and remains mud forever. And clay that endures the wheel, the pressure, the heat, even the breaking, and becomes art." His voice softened. "The question isn't whether you'll break, Ravi. Everything breaks. The question is, will you let yourself be reformed?" Arjun took the basket of 99 failures from Ravi's hands and gave it back to him. "Don't throw these away. These are your beginning." That night, Ravi crushed his 99 broken pots. He ground them into powder, mixed them with water, kneaded them into workable clay. Every piece that had represented failure became something new in his hands. And as he worked the reformed material, something shifted inside him. These weren't 99 different failures. They were 99 lessons compressed into his palms. The 100th pot cracked in the kiln. In the past, he would have despaired. Now he thought, more material. The 101st collapsed on the wheel, learning what not to do. The 110th actually held water, but looked awkward. Progress. Master Arjun watched quietly. "You're failing faster now," he observed one afternoon. "Good. The faster you fail, the faster you learn, the faster you create material for your masterpiece." 3 years passed. Ravi's hands transformed along with his clay. His first completed piece wasn't perfect, but it was whole. His 10th piece sold in the village market. His 50th piece earned praise from visiting merchants. And his 100th completed piece, created from the crushed remains of countless failures, earned a place in the temple alongside his master's work. The young man who once quit after 99 failures now saw every broken pot differently, not as proof of inadequacy, but as raw material, not as endings, but as beginnings. He had stopped being mud and started becoming art. The difference between mud and masterpiece isn't talent, it's mindset. A fixed mindset says, "I failed, therefore I am a failure." A growth mindset says, "I failed, therefore I have material to work with." Every expert you admire has a backroom full of failures. The only difference between those who quit and those who create masterpieces is what they do with broken pieces. Do you throw them away? Or do you crush them, reform them, and try again? You're not failing, you're gathering clay. The wheel is turning, the pressure is building. The only question is, will you endure and become art, or resist and remain mud? Look at something you failed at and given up on. A skill, a dream, a goal. What if those failures aren't proof you should quit, but raw material you need to succeed? What if your broken pieces are actually your building blocks? Take one failure from your past and ask, what did this teach me? How can I use this? Write it in the comments. My failure taught me. If this story reformed how you see failure, share it with someone who's ready to quit. Subscribe for more ancient wisdom for modern struggles. Remember, clay that refuses the wheel remains mud. Clay that endures becomes art. Which will you be?